guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm just starting off on I don't know, like a different note. I know a lot of people are currently doing their vision boards and they're creating their vision boards, you know, planning the year ahead. I do that towards the end of the year, like in the last quarter of the year. So I've already done my vision board. I did my vision board towards the end of the year, and it's always last quarter and the rest of the following year, and then I review it again at the end of the following year. And yeah, like I just tick off things that I've done and I have not done. So yeah, all about my vision board. But what I actually do at the start of a new year, I actually use this time for reflection. Like, yes, I do reflect upon the year during the last quarter when I'm reviewing my vision board. Like, have I, you know, have I done all the things that I said I'd do? Have I achieved all my goals? Have I ticked all, you know, my goals for the year? Has my vision actually like materialized for the year? And after doing that, I chill out. I panic if I need to panic. I, you know, do whatever it is that I need to do at that point in time. And then if there's something that I can still, you know, change or fix, then I'll be like, okay, using the last quarter to change XYZ, fix XYZ, achieve XYZ. And that's just how I navigate the whole vision board thing. I must say it actually does work. Last year I had 7 things on my vision board. I always try to make it as realistic as possible, but I always try to push myself and, you know, include things that I know that I have to work like really hard to achieve. Like, for example, last year, the one thing that I did not achieve was like changing a car, like buying myself a new car. And the car that I put on my vision board was like a GLE. Like, I'm definitely not there, but I wanted to just push myself to work really, really hard. And even if I don't get to the GLE, I'll come pretty close. And yeah, that's just the only thing that I didn't tick off my vision board. But all the other 6 things I was able to take off, and I was actually like quite shocked that, hey, you're doing really well at this. Yeah, but also with that being said, I always feel like it's not because of my own might. I feel like, you know, God has a role to play. Yeah, I don't like getting into detail about my relationship with God, because I'm also just like constantly trying to find my feet there. But yeah, God has a significant role in my life, and I genuinely like do trust in Him for a lot of things that I do, and life in general. Anywho, so I did write down a few things here so that I don't forget the things that I actually want to touch on, and I'm just going to be looking at some of the points that I've made here every now and then. So do forgive me if I'm just, you know, not maintaining eye contact and I'm looking down. I will be just checking out my points. Anywho, let's get into it. So this year, for my reflection period or my reflection session, I wasn't only reflecting on the previous year. Like, I did that, and I was like, okay, great. I already know what I've achieved. I already know what I've done. I already know what has changed. So many great opportunities found me, and I took advantage of them, and that was really amazing. But I also just stopped to reflect, like, over the past few years, you know, from 2020 till now. And then I went back a little bit. I'm like, from varsity till now. Then I went to step back, and then I was like, from high school, from primary school. Actually, let's just look at like my entire life, you know, from the beginning of my schooling career up until now. Like, is this where I wanted to be? Is this where I hope to be? How am I doing in terms of like my dream, in terms of my goal, you know, like the dreams and goals that the little girl had? How am I really doing in terms of that? And yeah, I'm going to be speaking about that today. So my career, when I think of my career, I always start looking at my career from the year 2020, simply because prior to that I was just doing my internship in ComServe, and those are things that just have to be done in my career. Like, I'm a pharmacist, and you just have to get through your internship in your ComServe, and then after that you you navigate through life and try to figure out like where are you gonna end up. You know, you try different things, figure out what's yours, what's not yours, which industry do you want to be in, not industry per se, but like where exactly do you want to be in, because there's just so many facets to pharmacy. And yeah, so my industry career started. So by industry, like being in a regulatory profile, a portfolio or space, being in a corporate environment more than anything. That's where it began. And I did my graduate program. Opportunity wise, that was really amazing for my career, and I'm grateful for that opportunity, because had it not been there, I don't think I'd be where I am today. But I must say, and I must emphasize, that it really came at a cost. You know, if you've seen my downgrade video, then you'd know what I'm talking about. Like, there was just a point in my life where my career like affected me so much. You know, I was just in a planting season, if I may say, and I had to wait. You know, it was only a year, but it felt like 10 difficult years. It felt like 10 difficult years. I was learning, I took a pay cut, I was trying to like maintain a lifestyle that I was accustomed to on this like significant pay cut, and it just was not happening. Things were not coming together, and unfortunately for me, that drastically like affected my relationships with my friends and family. At the time, it took a toll on my relationship with my partner at the time, to a point where I was just like, okay, we can't do this. And Shem Mtanabantu was also just like really put in a bad position, because I mean, who wants to have a partner that's like constantly complaining about money? I was constantly complaining about like everything. I'm like, oh my god, I can't do this, I don't have money, oh my god, this and this, I want to travel, I want to do this, I want to buy this, I want to eat this, I want to go here, but I can't. And it got really, really frustrating for both of us. And then with the work environment, shoo, yeah, that's something else. Like, the work environment was just a very demanding, you know, very demanding, high pressure environment. I'm also just like still trying to find my feet in this industry. I'm still learning, and I have to deliver, because, you know, you being a graduate does not exempt you from being expected to deliver. We had to deliver. And those days were dark, those days were tough. And for me, it got to a point where like I was so stressed, and I was so stressed about my work, delivering and everything. The pressure was really getting to me, and unfortunately for me, it started like manifesting physically. Like, I started getting like ill, like, you know, physically. I just get sick, and I'm not really like a very sickly person, but that year I started getting very, very sick, to a point where I was like, okay, cool, I am going to quit this job if I do not find something else, because now I just can't do it anymore. And somehow, by the grace of God, I was able to just hold on a little longer, push through, work through it. I also had my friends and family, especially like my cousins, because I was very close to them at that, you know, at that point in time in my life. I'd always vent to them, and I'm so grateful that they never got tired of the venting. You know, like they would give me suggestions on like what to do, how to live within my means, and how to make things work. But they never really got tired of like listening to my story and all the things that I had to share during that period in my life. And we were doing a family awards like session not so long ago. That's what we do, like every end of the year. The three of us will get together, then we'll give each other awards, like who was the funkiest this year, who was the best dressed this year, who was the most resilient, who was a prayer warrior, who was I don't know, like exploring life, living on the edge, and all sorts of things. And we were reflecting on the year 2022, but one of my cousins just like took me back to the year 2020, and I was like, sweetie, you might complain about how the end of 2022 rocked you, because that almost took my life. I think I just couldn't handle the pressure, and not even the pressure, just the challenge that I was faced with. And yeah, I got sick again. Yeah, it was terrible. I was driving to Durban every single weekend for like an entire month. I was just on autopilot, and they were just telling me that we know that like this last quarter has been very, very difficult for you, but if you look back to 2020, you were able to rise above that situation. You were able to come out alive. You were able to make it. You were able to push through. You know, your resilience is top tier. And shame, that's one thing I have to say about me. I'm a very resilient human being, and I think that mostly stems from the fact that ever since I was a child, like I've never had the option to fail or not to, yeah, like I've never had the option to fail or not be great, because I was like, okay, if I fail myself, if I don't make something of myself, then where will I end up? You know, I wasn't fortunate enough to have connections that would give me nepotism opportunities, you know, where somebody could plug me, and you know, I didn't have connections that I could use to push myself forward in life. So I had to work for everything. It's just like connections was a skill that I had to learn while into my career, like much later in life. And even then, like I still don't think I'm at a point where I have people I can call and be like, listen, I've got an opportunity, make it happen for me. No, I'm not there yet. I'm still the girl who still has to work to get to where they want to be. And yeah, as I was saying, like I've always had to look beyond my current circumstance and just push forward. I mean, I come from a township. I come from a small township, and I mean, like most townships in South Africa, I can only imagine. You often have to choose, or would you like, what will your life become? Do you want to be stuck in the system, in that social system, or do you want to at least try and push through and make something out of yourself? And then I obviously like chose the latter, but I'm also not gonna ignore like the privileges that I had, you know, like my parents taking me to multiracial schools, the opportunities that I had, the information that I had. My dad was very big on, you know, just like feeding us information, buying us books. Even though I didn't really like reading as a young person, but I always had access to information at the tip of my hands, and it was always up to me to use it. And at some point I was like, actually, I'm curious about life. You know, I think I know everything about this neighborhood, and the kids, and you know, I play with them and it's great and whatever, but you know, let me start reading, let me start like learning about what happens more outside this environment that I'm in. And yeah, so that also, I know, like it played a significant role in how I viewed life and what I wanted for myself. And yeah, like, so yeah, with that being said, I now knew a lot more, and I was exposed to a lot more than just like my neighborhood, my circumstances. I had friends from other walks of life. I had friends who were much more privileged than me, who came from families that were much more privileged than me. And I took every opportunity to just learn from them, and just like, you know, learn from them, learn about their families, opportunities, you know, how they live, where they live. Go to the burbs, you're like, okay, this is nice, I like this for myself. Oh, okay, your aunt does this, your mom does this, oh, your aunt's a doctor, I think I like that, I think I'm quite interested. And I'm capable. Like, I knew I was capable. I was good in school. I was quite an academic student, so yeah, I was like, actually, I think I'm gonna work very hard, and I'm gonna try to be a doctor. Obviously, that dream did not materialize. and I still made it to med school. I then went on to do pharmacy. But even before then, like, I knew that I was like very, very interested in the medical field, and I always looked at the fact that there'll always be jobs. Like, yeah, like, people will always be sick, people will always need some sort of medical intervention. So the chances of me not getting a job, I was like, they're quite slim. And that's how I ended up in the medical field. Yeah, like I said, I didn't get into medicine. I ended up in pharmacy. And before actually like accepting pharmacy, I started like doing research, like, okay, where can I work? What will I do? Is it interesting? Let me go and do it. Let me check it out. Let me try it out. How will I earn? What's the earning potential? Okay, not bad. I can live. And then I worked really, really hard to get there. Like, I had to sacrifice playing time. I had to stop playing with my friends, hang out with friends. I had to just study and push through because I really wanted to leave the hood. Like, I know I'm making it sound like the hood is such a terrible place to be in. It's not, but I just knew that it was not for me. I never like fitted in from like early childhood, like ever since I was preschool, maybe not preschool, but primary, like junior primary. I knew that, okay, I don't belong here, because people just didn't understand me. Like, all the other kids didn't understand me. I was like bullied in junior primary school for like silly things. It's like, oh, do you think you're better? You're like such a lady. Why are you so prim and proper? Why don't you want to get dirty? Why don't you want to, why do you talk like that? Why do you twang? Why do you act like that? Like, why is your hair always like so prim and proper? Why is your hair never messed up like all the other kids? It's just like, I love myself. I love myself and I take good care of myself. But it was something that was very difficult for me to try and explain through other kids. To other kids. And looking back now, I'm just like, it is so crazy that I got bullied for like being a super girly girl and being like super feminine and taking good care of myself and just behaving like a lady, lack of a better descriptor at that point in time. And just my choices in life, I'm like, oh, if I don't become like some super important thing like a doctor or a lawyer, I'd like to be in front of the TV, in front of the camera. I just always like thought very highly of myself, and I wanted big and great things for myself. And it just sucked that like I got bullied for that kind of thing. So I knew, I was like, oh, I hate school. I hated school with like everything in my heart. And I knew that in order for me to like get out, leave school, leave the neighborhood, I have to work really hard, and I need to just focus on the big goal. I have to just push through, like be on top of my game in terms of my academics, because also, okay, I didn't come from like a well-off family where after high school my parents would be able to like easily fund like my studies. So I had to push through all of that, push through primary school, change schools at some point, thank goodness. That decision that was made by my mom was just like absolutely amazing, and it literally saved my life. I don't know where I'd be, I don't know how I would have turned out if I was stuck in that environment. But what I loved about myself is that even though I was removed from like that bullying environment, I still like kept focused. I still maintained the hard work. I still maintained the discipline of, listen, you still need to move forward in life. And then I remember like after matric I had the opportunity to like stay in KZN and just study there, but I was like, I'm so over this. Like, KZN is all I know, Durban is all I know. I grew up in Durban, and I just want to see what's out there in the world. I know that I don't have the type of funds that will allow me to go study abroad, but can I at least leave the province? I want to go to Joburg, I want to go to Pretoria, I want to go to Cape Town. I want to see what's there. And my parents were so against it, especially my father. My father was like, no, sweetie, you are not going there. Like, what if you just, you know, like, how will you cope without your family? How will you cope without your parents? You know, like, they were just really scared that I'm a girl, I'm gonna be away from home, away from my family. What if I just get caught up in, like, you know, the city life of Joburg, and I end up with drugs, and I end up pregnant, you know. So my dad was like, no, you're not going there. And I was just like, oh yes, sweetie. Oh yes, sweetie, like, I am going there, you know. In which I didn't say to his face, but I was like, we'll see. I'll get what I want. I always do. I got accepted into UKZN for like a lot of courses, majority of the courses that I had applied for. And then I just decided, if my parents see these acceptance letters, I am going to be stuck here, and I'm going to have to live here. And I don't know if another opportunity will ever come for me to leave. So I was like, no, let me hide these letters, because it doesn't change, like, not by me hiding the letters, it doesn't change the fact that Gitatiwe at the university. Like, I can always just be like, oh, I don't get the letter or whatever. So I decided to hide all my acceptance letters from UKZN, and I was like, oh, but Vets took me, I'm going to Vets. And my parents was like, oh my goodness, it's so expensive, how will we cope? And I was like, don't worry about that, I have it all sorted out. I found funding, I applied for funding, I applied for bursaries, they haven't responded, but in the interim, I've got like financial aid. Yo, yeah, no, nobody was like keen to you know, like, see me go. They were excited, but they really don't want to like let go of me. And I knew, I want this for myself. I want a fresh start. I want to just see, you know, the world in a different light. And what better way than to move away from home, go mix with other people, and see how I'll cope. And yeah, that's what I did. Got on a bus, went to Bits, went to the admissions office, and you know, they asked me for like a deposit of like 10,000 for my academics, and then 10,000 for res. I was like, I don't have 20,000 rand, I don't have any money. I'm on a bus, and I took a bus here, and I'm gonna take another bus back in the evening, so I need to sort out everything. And unfortunately for me, like, I'm not a crier. I don't cry when I'm faced with a difficult situation. I can't. I feel like it's wasting time. I'm always thinking, okay, what to do now, what to do next. And then I just started like moving around, you know, talking to people who seemed like older students. I'm like, listen, this is my problem. What do I do? Where do I go? Please redirect me. That guy said X, Y, and Z, and that just does not make sense to me. And so yeah, like, I spent the day just, you know, roaming around from post to pillar until I found assistance. Somebody was like, okay, cool, do you have an acceptance letter? Do you have a letter stating that you have been awarded with I think it was a merit award, like, so I get like some discount, or like it wasn't a discount, but yeah, like, I had X amount of money that was just going to be paid to my fees because of like how I did my matric year. And then there was FinAid. So yeah, I went to the FinAid office, went to the residential office. I was able to register for res without having to pay the 10,000 rand, and I was able to register for my studies, and I was like, yay, I'm going home now. I think I had a backpack on. I had a green backpack on, and then my mom was with me, but like, I was doing most of the up and down, the moving around, because I was like, I don't want my girl to say she doesn't know what's happening. I know what's happening, and I'm willing to fight with whoever, and yay, to make a plan basically for me to study here. So I was like, okay, cool, we're done, let's get going, let's go home. And we went home, packed my bags. A few weeks later, I think it was a week or two later after registration, came up to Joburg, settled into res, and yeah, then varsity challenges began. But it wasn't so bad. It wasn't so bad. But yeah, Nakona, I had to just, you know, push through. Like, it was just so difficult. It's so difficult. There's so many people who repeated like a lot of the modules, and I was so scared because if I don't make it through like any of, you know, my years of study, Finade is gonna drop me, or whatever bursary I have is gonna drop me, and my parents will not be able to afford my Wits fees. So it was always a thing that was constantly at the back of my mind with you have to make it. Come hello high waters, you have to make it. And for me, that was just like one thing. Okay, sweetie, you need to keep going, you need to keep going, you need to keep going. And I definitely used that to push myself forward. Even I didn't feel like studying, even when I studied, and I tried my very best to, you know, perform, and my results would not reflect the effort that I put in, because that happens in university. Like, you'll really put all your time and effort into studying, and you think, oh, you know what, I've got this, understand this concept, let's go right. You'll be like, yo, or yo, it's okay. When your results come out, I'll never forget my first year chemistry results. I think I got like 30%. I was like, what? It must be madness, because I thought I was good in chemistry, but clearly not. And then I'd always just like pray and remind myself, oh, it's okay, cool, sweetie. If ungayifunding indlela of like making it, you're gonna go back home. You're gonna be stuck in that system that you do not want to be in anymore. You're gonna be stuck with people who snacks about you, who don't understand you. You're gonna go back to that, and do you really want that for yourself? Is it something that you really want? And then I'd be like, okay, no, let me wake up and study. Even when I was tired, I was like, you don't have a degree, you don't deserve to sleep. I know that's toxic because you need rest, but that's just how I push myself. I'm just like, girl, are you sleeping? Are you seriously sleeping? You don't even have a qualification. Like, how dare you sleep? You know, it's not like you come from a moneyed home. Also, like, how are you gonna make it through life if and then I'd push through, work really hard. There were times where like my parents couldn't send me like money. I don't know if they forgot or they couldn't. Like, I really don't know what is happening. Like, sometimes I just not get money, and I'm just like, yo, I guess I need to find a way to like live. I'm not gonna call and like stress them. And then that's how I started like braiding people's hair, like for like 100 rand. I'll do your braids. It will take me a very long time, but I'll do your braids for 100 rand or 150, or I'll install like your weave for like 80 rand. Because I've always loved, like, you know, hair and beauty. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna do your hair, I'm gonna do your weave. And then I found a group of girls who were thrifting. Like, thrifting was a thing. I was like, okay, I've never really done this before, but I don't have money to like be buying new clothes all the time. Like, I can't afford to be buying new clothes. I can't afford to be going to a factory every day. I can't. But I also need clothes, because especially if you're from like Durban, it takes a while for you to like acclimatize and get used to Iklamitangalana. And then I was like, okay, cool, we're gonna try this thrifting thing out. And I was like, okay, this is like working. I take the money that I got from like doing people's hair, and I'd use it to go like thrift shop. So we first found like thrift shops around Bromfontein, and then I'd go there. Then somebody was like, actually, there's a place where you can thrift in downtown in Joburg CBD, and it's even cheaper, but the clothes are usually like, you know, filthy and stuff, or you just have to dig, and it's not like really safe. But I was like, safety, so this but right. I don't know why I told myself that, but I was like, no, I'm a strong girl, I can do this. And variety, I just need to blend in with the people ngingabi too pretty, ngingabi too polished, nje ngravazeke kancane, and just be within the people. Yeah, like I started thrift shopping, and so I used to thrift shop for my own clothes that I'm gonna wear. And then a lot of students, you know, would ask me, like, you know, people from res or class or campus be like, oh, I like this jacket, I like this, I like this, I like this. Where do you buy your clothes from? And I'm like, downtown. I wouldn't really tell them that like I'm thrifting, but I'd just be like, oh, downtown, and I'd leave it at that. And then people would be like, oh, we really like your clothes, especially my jackets. And then yeah, like I came together with a few mates, and then we decided, actually, we can make this into a business. Then we started buying clothes downtown, and then wash it in the laundry room, and then sell it to other people. So like we take pictures, we go to main campus, take lots of pictures, you know, post it up. We had a Instagram page where we posted up these clothes, and then people would have to buy these clothes from us, and that was just like another source of income for me. So now I was like, I was doing people's hair, I was selling clothes while still studying. Then at some point I ventured into like selling weaves. Like, you know, when weaves started becoming a thing, I found a vendor in Bruma, and you know, I started buying there and then reselling those, especially like during grad season and throughout the year. You know, there were kids who were into that, but you know, they were not willing to go to those ugly parts of town to buy the hair. So I was like, okay, I'm more than willing to go there. I'll gladly go for you, and I'll buy it for you. And I was just thinking about all those things, and I'm like, it's funny how umuntu went through all these things, and umuntu uzokubona today, like umuntu uzongibona today, be like, oh my god, you had like such an easy life. And I was like, excuse me, sir, or excuse me, ma'am. I had to sort of kind of hustle, sort of kind of make things happen, sort of kind of push through impilo, like ngibe nenkani, because that's literally it. Like akoving nenkani about my dreams, about what I want, and inkani yami yoningisiza, inkani yami yoningibekela ngikhona today. I'm obviously not where I want to be in life. I haven't ticked off, you know, all the things that I want to do with my life. There's so many other things that I still want to do, and I'm still working towards, you know, achieving a lot of my goals. But yo, when I was just having that reflection session, I was like, actually, sweetie, you're doing okay. You're doing okay. Like, don't be too hard on yourself. Yes, khona izinto ongakuzifeza, khona izinto ongakuzenzi, but you're doing okay. And if utshela omunye umuntu any like all the things that you've been through, I obviously like left out quite a few things that I'd rather not talk about right now, because I don't feel like crying. I don't feel like being sad and uktetema right now. But there's so many challenges that I've had to push through and overcome, because I always knew with him I don't really have a choice, you know. I have to make this life thing work. I have to make something out of myself, and all those like hardships, all those difficult situations were there for a reason. They were there to build my resilience, to make me stronger. I know nobody wants to be a strong soldier in life, but you know, that's just life. You learn from all these circumstances. You learn to uzmela. Well, that's just, you know, one of the many lessons that I learned, you know, to just be comfortable with standing on your own 2 feet, uzmele, and not depend on anybody else. I'm very grateful because at that point in time, I was like, ngizokhokha kanjani 150,000 osebhithi and I was just like, ngizoba nenkani laphayana, ngizohamba ngiyohlala ngenkani, ngizohamba ngiyosho hayibo ngihlaliseni, ngizofunda ngiphase. Like, that's all I'm gonna do. And leyo nkani yami yayingisiza, because even at raise, like whenever I had to like register for the following year of study, like yes, I would have passed the previous year of study, but because my fees were not paid up by financial aid, whenever I'd go to the accommodations office, it's like, but sweetie, you can't get res, we need to give preference to firstly new students and students who have paid, like who have paid up all their fees. And I was like, well, I know Finate hasn't paid my fees, but happy. Like I always said, oh no, I'm never went to call. Like, not that I didn't have family in Joburg, I definitely had, but I don't want to trouble them and bother them. Like, I'm not their responsibility. And in as much as there were such amazing people who are always willing to help, I just felt bad with I need to make this happen, you know. And you're with office unless you give me iskiya sami saserezi ngoba phela nami ngilinda uFinate akhokhe mengakhokhi ngenze njani, you know. And hey, I remember there was a point in time my raised meals were up and I didn't have food. Like, I don't know how that happened, but I didn't have raised meals. And because I think my sister was really like studying, and I was like, oh, my sister didn't get fin aid, so they're paying for her for like everything, textbooks, and already it was such a stretch at home. So I felt so bad, you know, like having to ask for money. Yo, Sana, there was a time in my life where I was just living on that Ace instant porridge. Ugh, I hate that thing. I don't think I could ever stomach it eventually again, because like, you know, when you're having something so much that even the smell of it just makes you want to vomit. But uzotini. Yeah, so like looking back I was actually just like, I'm so grateful for all these like tough situations, because that made me a tough cookie. I've had to learn whatever I needed to learn in that season, and then take the lesson with me, and it has done me well. Shame. Yeah, uncomfortable situations really do help you grow, and I'm grateful. So yeah, that's all I really have to say, you know. Like, I was just reflecting on what was, and using that to just, you know, appreciate the lessons, and remember to take those lessons moving forward and apply them in the future. And that's what I hope to do in 2023. I just hope to remember all of my lessons, apply them, and not feel like not to give up if I'm faced with a difficult situation, because I can think I pay, I can think I slowly, and yeah, and just trust in God. So yeah, that's it, love balls. That's just like my reflection. That's my reflection for today, or for the year. That's all I've just, you know, thought about. That's all I'm just gonna touch on for now. And until next time, yes guys, so if you liked this video, please don't forget to click that subscribe button, or you can comment. I will definitely engage back with you. If there's any other questions you'd like to ask me, please feel free to use the comment section below. If you want to DM me, probably won't be seeing this on Instagram, but it's fine. If you do want to ask me any other questions, or if you ask me anything that I did not touch on, anything that you want to know more about, please feel free to just, you know, pop a comment or DM me or text me, whatever. I'm Wazi Shabs on all my socials. I'm Wazi Shabs on Instagram, and I'll just leave my handle here. And I'm also Wazi Shabs on Twitter. So if you want to DM me anything, don't ask me anything on the TL on Twitter. If you want to DM me anything, my DMs are open. So I'll also leave my Twitter handle here. And that's it from me, love balls. I hope 2023 is an amazing year for all of you. I hope if you're struggling with something, if you have any challenges, you just keep pushing through. You hold on, you push through until you get to where you need to get to. And yeah guys, see you next time. Bye.